Hey there, welcome back to True North Reviews. My name is Ryan, and today we'll be doing episode 10 of Hot and Cold. This is a video series I like to do where I pick out the best, known as the hot, the worst, known as the cold, and the middle of the road tracks to have been released over the past week. Specifically, we'll be looking at any songs put out between August 19th and August 25th, 2018. And as per usual, if you notice that a song is missing, feel free to recommend, and all the songs will be linked down in the description if you want to check any of them out. One final note before we get into the video, please know that I'll be reducing the number of uploads that I do for Hot and Cold going into the school year. I'm going to be quite hectic and my schedule is going to be very busy, so it might benefit the quality of songs that I'm picking out anyways. So I'm looking to make it more of a monthly kind of upload instead of weekly, and that would probably bode well for a lot of the songs that I pick out anyways, because some weeks are a little bit lighter and quieter. Not as many like bigger or better known artists are putting out music, but so please keep that in mind. But that also doesn't mean that like one week I might just have the urge to review a bunch of these songs that I'll be like, oh yeah, this was a very busy week and like there's a lot I have to say about it, so it's really up in the air. We'll just play it by ear. Just please don't have a cow, man. But without further ado, let's get into the hot tracks. These are the ones that I figured were the best that I heard over the past week. And kicking that off is Interpol with their new song called Complications. And I really love this one for its fun guitar riff on it. It's very playful, and it's interesting for its odd chord progression in the bridge that kind of spills over into the outro. Next up, we have Blood Orange with their new song, Holy Will. This is on their newest record that they dropped last week. But for this one that I picked out here, the vocal performance is the highlight. The range, the harmonies with the backup singers, just heavenly, so out of this world. And the chilling synth in the outro, teamed up with the drum beat, really sealed the track very nicely. Definitely recommend checking out the entire record. A lot of it's still growing on me. There's a lot of deeper messages behind all of the songs that it's really hard to wrap your head around, but I just picked out this one because it was easier to explain why it's so great. Next up, we have So Far Under by Alice in Chains. This one is a big switch up from the song before. This is like a hard rock, almost metal kind of song. Has grimy guitars in there, very loud and thick in the texture, rough around the edges, but that kind of plays into the wheelhouse of Alice in Chains. There's some pitch bends in the guitar on there, and it's definitely a standout on the new record, Rainier Fog. Next up, we have Superposition by Young the Giant. This is a band that I am absolutely in love with. This is the second single that they've dropped for their upcoming album, which is now dated to release on October 12th. And this new one here, the physics phenomena in the lyrics, coupled with this chilling and more laid-back kind of mood, with a bit of an Eastern influence in the instrumentation. This is definitely a solid improvement over the lead single, Simplify, which I reviewed as a track earlier this summer. And yeah, I'm really digging this new tune here. I find that the group is most brilliant when they hit on a combination of intelligent lyrics, odd sounds, and Superposition is a mature progression from the previous record, Home of the Strange, but it should also set up an album with its own unique sound and scope too. Rounding out the hot tracks from the past week, we have a new song from Atmosphere entitled Virgo, and this is hip-hop, but like at first I wasn't really thinking that because this instrumental at the beginning with the guitar just made me think of anything but hip-hop. Had to do a bit of a double take there, but the lyricism and the delivery complement the mood of the song without going overboard or getting too preachy either. The form and structure of the song are interesting too. There's no real chorus, just the repeated guitar part that kicked off the track. It adds an interesting feature or flavor to the song. Now onto the middle of the road tracks. Not the best, not the worst. Definitely worth noting. They're very noteworthy. First up, we have 3 singles put out by Julian Baker, Lucy Dacus, and Phoebe Bridgers. These are called Bite the Hand, Stay Down, and Me and My Dog. These 3 singer-songwriters, kind of folk, alternative artists have combined forces similar to like Case Langvers when they put out that excellent folk rock album in 2016. And these 3 new singles put out by Baker, Bridgers, and Dacus. I apologize if I messed up on the last name of that last person, but they are lesser known compared to Katie Lang and the other 2 singers, but they all contribute beautiful harmonies and compelling instrumentation to go along with them. I recommend listening to Bite the Hand as the first single of the 3 that I've picked out here. Moving on from there, we have the English alternative electronic duo of Han. They put out their sophomore record release last week, and I picked out the song Shrink. And for this one, it's the instrumentation that wins me over on the track. It mixes warm tones of keyboard, weird samples, cowbell, whistles, horns, and abrasive guitar in the final minute. Just a fun little pop tune, a little mismatched here and there in the form and the structure, and the magic kind of wore off from the first listen, but it's still pretty decent. Also dropping a song last week, we have Logic with The Return, and this is actually a return to his older kind of flow and lyricism that made him famous before dropping his first album. He sounds really hungry on the mic on this one, I'll give him that. It is a revival of his alter ego of Young Sinatra. He also takes shots at Trump, as well as the TMZ age of listening to music or actually just hyping something up as being controversial. The call out of Trump at this point isn't really playing much into the conversation since so many other artists have done this with varying degrees of success. I feel like Logic is somewhere in the middle. But the point made on TMZ not caring about the quality of the music it sparks an interesting debate. Like, to what extent should music fans or critics care about a musician's personal life or issues when judging the quality of their music? For some context, Logic has been battling the tabloids with relationship and divorce rumors, while other artists are getting hyped for capitalizing on the trends of their clothes, but no one's really seeming to care about the quality of the music, which should be the focal point of the discussion, right? Like, this is why the musicians are famous in the first place. Of course, when you have XXXTentacion, who dealt with legal issues before his death, it kind of gets in the way of criticizing his art. It's a bit more of a touchier subject with him, given that some people kind of refuse to listen to his music based on his behavior outside of it. And for that specific case, it really does seem like it could be a case-by-case approach that we take with this question. But then there's the gray area of artists like Michael Jackson, who allegedly did some terrible things to people, so can we fully separate the art from the artist? Or heck, even Eminem was criticized in the early days of his discography for these very homophobic lyrics. Also in the hip-hop scene, we have Tyler, the Creator, who experienced similar fate with his earlier discography for the homophobic lyrics, but ever since coming out of the closet, his older work seems to be like excused as him like struggling to figure out his identity. Like, should he be held accountable for telling the personal truth? Or can we just fake lyrics and just be a mouthpiece for a fictional character without scrutiny? All important questions when dealing with the artist and how far music consumers ought to separate their personal lives from the stories that they tell in their lyrics. But for me personally on this topic, as long as you know the intention of the artist and can judge the degree of sincerity, we should have an okay understanding of the art. But man, sometimes the subjective opinions of music can really get in the way. And all of this talk just because of a simple Logic lyric. Thanks, man, your song is decent. Now onto the cold tracks, and these were definitely the worst I've heard over the past week. Liam Payne put out an EP, which was to delay this unfinished album that he's reworking, and that really makes sense with the B-side quality of the songs on this. But the track I've picked out off this EP is called First Time, which features French Montana, and it has a star on Apple Music indicating that it's one of the more popular on the project, and I'm still trying to figure out why. It's really boring. Even strip that down, the single that Liam put out last year was way more exciting than this, and that was just super derivative of Justin Timberlake. Moving on from there, we have the newest single from the Chainsmokers called Save Yourself, and there are so many things wrong with this. It has cliched elements of dubstep, and this is really just the most anticlimactic, generic, hodgepodge piece of crap that serves really no purpose in 2018 other than being this silly, unwanted throwback. Like, damn, did I wake up in a time machine set for 2010? Like, where am I? I just lost track of time. Florida Georgia Line also came out with a new song. This one's called Sittin' Pretty. This one has a lot of generic lyrics, not much that's really ambitious or adventurous about the track. Just another country song that will go through one ear and out the other. Jason Derulo also came out with a new song. It's called Goodbye, and I'm kind of waving goodbye to it too. It's shoddy dancehall at best. It's infused with French and Spanish rapping with the easiest rhyming that you'll hear all year. We and C. Come on. Nicki Minaj makes an appearance on the track. Really just sounds like she's phoning it in. Very boring delivery. I do like the dash, like a hyphen wordplay in there, but the song is just bad for just about every other aspect about it. And rounding out this week for the cold tracks, we have Kyle with his new single entitled Moment. The vocal performance is weak, super lethargic. Wiz raps about wanting to roll a doobie. Tell me something I haven't heard at this point. And they really rip off God's Plan with that ting on the 40 anda and the rhythm there. BT dubs. There you have it. There's episode 10 of Hot and Cold said and done. Now I want to hear from you. Sound off down below in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. Agree or disagree. I'm here to engage with you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. My name is Ryan from True North Reviews. And as always, have a rockin' day. Thanks for watching.